Paris, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar facing some significant fallout after making these harsh comments following the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
There is nothing more effed up, than to completely pretend that his words and actions have not been recorded and in existence for the last decade. These people are full of, and it's important for us to call them out.
Tennessee Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn took offense, reacting on X, quote, "Ilhan shows no remorse in slandering an honorable man who was brutally murdered in cold blood for the entire world to see. As many grieve the loss of a husband, father, and patriotic American, Ilhan has chosen a divisive and..."
The hearing opened under a charged atmosphere as Ilhan Omar prepared to defend herself. The room was already split in two. Her allies AOC and Rashida TL sat beside her, ready for battle, while critics like Nicole Malliotakis and McClain waited for their turn to strike. The camera zoomed in on Omar's face, calm, but the tension in her eyes told another story. AOC rose first, her voice trembling with emotion as she accused the House of turning politics into persecution. "This isn't about accountability," she declared. "This is about silencing a woman who refuses to bow down." Her words sent shock waves across the chamber, whispers echoing through the room as she sat down, defiant. Then came Nicole Malliotakis, walking to the microphone with an air of cold precision. She wasted no time, accusing Omar of spreading division and disrespecting American values. "You've used your platform not to unite," she said sharply, "but to attack the very principles that allow you to serve here." The reaction was instant. Gasps, murmurs, and visible unease among Omar supporters. This wasn't just politics anymore. It was personal. Malliotakis stood firm, her words cutting deep, leaving Omar visibly shaken for the first time since the hearing began.
In reserves, gentlelady from Michigan is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And to use that logic, well, then all those people should have just said sorry and we'd move on, right? But no, we don't do that. And let me tell you, I take a little bit of offense to what the hell is wrong with me. I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with me. I took an oath to defend the Constitution, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Again, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm going to hold the Constitution, and it's very simple. We really shouldn't even have this debate. If you break the law and you follow due process, there are consequences to your actions, even if you say sorry. So we can try all of the diversion tactics that we would like. It doesn't change the fact that someone broke the law and that someone should be held accountable. It is disappointing, Mr. Speaker, that their own party can't hold them accountable, that they have such hypocrisy. So with that, I yield 2 minutes to my friend.
AOC wasted no time firing back with a passionate defense. Her voice trembled with fury as she called the attacks against Ilhan Omar thinly veiled discrimination, warning that history would not be kind to those who used power to silence women of color. Her tone grew stronger with every word, her hand pointing across the chamber. "If you truly believe in freedom of speech," she shouted, "then stop weaponizing it against your colleagues." The room erupted, cheers and jeers crashing together in a storm of chaos. What had started as a hearing had now turned into a political battlefield. Then came McClain. Calm, composed, but unrelenting. Taking the floor, she delivered one of the harshest rebukes of the day. Her words were deliberate, her tone sharp. "Representative Omar," she began, "has shown a pattern of anti-American sentiment, and that has no place on key committees." The chamber stiffened as she continued, "We can disagree on policy, but not on loyalty to this nation." Her statement drew thunderous applause from her side of the aisle. Omar sat still, blinking rapidly, struggling to hold her composure as the noise filled the room. The tension was thick, suffocating. Every word, every stare carried the weight of a nation divided. It was no longer just about politics. It was about identity, loyalty, and the cost of standing your ground under the harshest spotlight in America.
Gentlelady is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to the gentlelady from the great state of New York, Nicole Malliotakis.
The gentlewoman from New York is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've heard from my colleagues the reasons why the Representative Omar should be removed from this committee, but I feel like all the reasons have not just yet been stated, which is why I rise to add for the record. We've heard about the comments that were made regarding anti-Semitism and anti-Israeli views, but I rise to add to the record that as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, I've sat there and heard the representative actually spew anti-American rhetoric as well. I've been in that committee room where the representative equates Israel and the United States to Hamas and the Taliban. Absolutely unacceptable for a member of that committee. I've also heard the representative equate that it is the United States' fault that there is turmoil in Venezuela. That is not because of the oppressive socialist and communism that has spread throughout Central and South America and Venezuela at the hands of the Maduro and Hugo Chavez regimes. That is unacceptable. And as a New York representative, to hear the representative belittle, to try to diminish the worst terrorist attack on United States soil on September 11, 2001, as some people did something, that is unacceptable as well. And I hold the same standard for this side of the aisle that I do the other, because when another colleague on my side said something about 9/11, I also voted to have her removed from the Education Committee because I thought that was inappropriate. So I'm being consistent here, and I hope my colleagues will do the same to show that this is about consistency and accountability, because we should not have an individual with those views on the committee that is tasked with representing our country and our Congress to foreign nations. I yield back.
Then came Rashida, her face already strewn with tears. Her voice cracked as she rose to defend Ilhan Omar, calling the attacks against her unfair, cruel, and deeply un-American. Through trembling words, she reminded the chamber of everything Omar had endured. The death threats, the hate campaigns, the endless criticism. Yet, she never stopped serving with courage. "You don't have to agree with her," CLA cried, her voice breaking. "But you must see her humanity." Her words cut through the noise, and for a brief moment, the entire room fell silent. Even some of Omar's harshest critics looked away, unable to meet her eyes. It was a rare moment of honesty, raw, human, and painfully real. When Ilhan Omar finally spoke, her tone was soft but steady. She told her story once more. How she fled war, how she came to America searching for safety, and how she still believed in this nation's promise of equality. "I'm not perfect," she said, her voice trembling slightly, "but I've always fought for what I believe is right." She turned toward Malliotakis and McClain, acknowledging their criticism but rejecting their accusation of disloyalty. "You can disagree with my ideas," she said firmly, "but you cannot erase my love for this nation." The chamber was silent. No shouts, no applause, no noise. Just the quiet weight of her words hanging in the air. For that one fleeting moment, the fight stopped and every person in the room listened.
Thank you, and I yield back the balance of my time.
For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
Revise my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, today I rise to congratulate my colleagues on voting to remove Representative Ilhan Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee. The passage of H.R. 76 sends a strong message that we support Israel and the Jewish community. I urge the 118th Congress to now stand together, proudly upholding every single American, no matter race, pedigree, religion, nor creed, as any less American than their neighbor. That Jewish Americans are patriotic Americans, and that we all have a role in fighting bigotry and anti-Semitism in our country. We must make sure that the House of Representatives reflects such principles as a united body. I yield back.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Florida seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to address the House for 1 minute.
But the silence didn't last long. Nicole Malliotakis shot back, her tone sharp and unrelenting. She dismissed Omar's words as too little too late, accusing her of trying to play the victim. Patriotism isn't proven in speeches, she said coldly. It's proven in actions. Her words hit like a strike, reigniting the tension that had barely settled. Omar's composure began to crack, frustration and emotion mixing behind her calm exterior. AOC and Rashida Tlaib leaned in, whispering to her, trying to steady her, but the attacks kept coming. The chamber grew louder by the second, voices clashing, tempers flaring. Cameras captured Omar blinking away, tears as chaos erupted on both sides. The debate had turned into an all-out confrontation. And then, AOC stood once again, anger flashing in her eyes, her voice cutting through the noise like thunder. "This is not justice," she shouted. "This is a spectacle." Her words exploded across the room, echoing from wall to wall. She accused the committee of turning a serious issue into political theater. "You're not removing her for misconduct," AOC continued, her voice fierce and unwavering. "You're removing her because you fear her influence." The audience erupted. Cheers, boos, and chaos colliding in a single moment. It was one of AOC's most emotional and fearless performances yet. Defiant, articulate, and unforgettable.